So in this video log, I'm going to talk about the emphasis of technology used in the classroom that I volunteer at in Agape, and kind of just like the idea of like the movement of technology through like our education system and like how this is going to kind of affect me in the future. This came to my attention, and like why I decided to talk about it is because one of my last sessions there, they had a big problem with technology in their classroom, which like kind of hindered the classroom. So it's set up in a way where she has geometry, algebra, she has another group of students that does like college algebra or like does it for like college credit. The other algebra is just like beginner level credit for it. And so she has in one classroom like 3 different sections of math, like learning completely different maths. That would be 3 different classrooms in maybe a different setting. And so the way she sets it up and the way she does it, because I was talking to her about this, I'm like, how do you manage to have 3 different classrooms essentially in one classroom? And she was telling me that she really heavily relies on Schoology, and she uploads these instructional videos to Schoology for each lesson. I like looked onto this one girl's iPad, and she was like showing me they all get an iPad for this because a lot of other teachers use this idea, but for math specifically. And so it's all organized in like sections, lesson plans. So on the board, she'll write like what each group should be working on. And then throughout it, like there's like all these different like sections and step by step in these like instructional videos. And then like what correlates with the instructional videos is like notes that she prints out that you like copy from the lecture, pretty much from the instructional lecture online. And then from there you have a practice, and then from that you have a quiz or an exam. And so I was interested because I'm like, you heavily rely on technology. I'm like, how does this work? And like as unlikely as it was, or really if it's not that unlikely, I'm not sure, but we all know how technology can be. But I got to class on Friday, and she was saying that Schoology was like completely down on their iPads. Like for some reason, maybe the app wasn't working. And then we like tried it on different things, and it would work on like some laptops because they have like a classroom set of like these laptops, and it would work on some laptops, and then it wouldn't, and it was just very hit or miss, and it wasn't working very well. So it was interesting to see like what they could do instead. So she had to kind of like act on her feet and like use like think fast, and she got different worksheets and like different games that these students could be doing. She also gave them the option to be working on other classes, like stuff, because it's the end of their semester coming up. And so maybe a student doesn't have that much for math, but has a lot for history or has a lot for social studies or science. And so this was like kind of like a moment where you like sit back and you're like, this is a really like teachable moment for a teacher themselves, because she relies heavily so much on technology that she kind of like act on her feet and like come up with these plans for these students, which ended up working out. I mean, in the classes that I would in, first hour there was 3 girls, and second hour there was 5. So I mean, it was really kind of like a free hour. I mean, she was like, if you can get these problems done, if you can get this stuff done without the videos, that would be awesome. But if you can't, I'm not going to hold it against you, because that's how she sets up her classroom. So there's also a Karen like festival that they were going to be doing during lunchtime. So a lot of the students within her classroom are Karen, and so they were not there because they were practicing for their showcase that they were presenting. So it was like a more lax Friday, but it made me think about in my future, and like depending on what teaching setting I'm in, like how I'm going to be able to implement technology within the classroom. And I know that this is like a really big movement within classrooms. We talked about it briefly kind of in our class about how technology is used in the classroom and like why it's used and why it's important. And we also bring up different ideas about how, you know, if there's a student who feels that they don't learn best on technology, like how you can kind of balance idea. Because I know like when I was a student, there would be some things that we need to do online, and for me it was just like over my head. And I even like face this now in college, like everything's relied online and everything's on like Canvas and whatever, but like I mean, a lot of our teachers have had issues with Canvas. And I mean, even you've said it yourself, like Canvas kind of sucks. And so it's kind of just interesting to see like how to create this dynamic of like internet and like technology, and then like also being the presence in the classroom and like having that presence. It made me think about a discussion that we had in class about like moving more towards online schooling and students doing that, and how like there's a push for that, like with the high demand in technology, how there's a push for online schooling. And just like kind of like it's interesting to think about how these two differ, because I know personally there was some students in high school where like, I don't even know why I need to come to high school, everything's online. Like I could literally get the same education that I am at home as I could in the classroom, which I really don't want my students to think that at all, because like I really want to be a presence in the classroom. That's just like, that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to be this figure for the students. And also with this high push in technology in education, you are losing on those opportunities of connection with the students. And really, I mean, I've had past teachers and mentors like tell me, really, when you're getting your degree in education, yes, you're educating your students on your field of work, but you're also kind of becoming like a professional role model, which one teacher told that to me, and it stuck with me since. They told me that in 10th grade. It was my 10th grade English teacher, and it's stuck with me since, because I've never really looked at it that way, because, and some teachers really just think, oh, I'm very passionate about math, and what can I do with math? I can teach, and that's for the opposite. It was kind of with me. I'm like, I'm passionate about teaching, and I'm passionate about being this like role model and this mentor and instructor, facilitator, friend almost. And, I like English, and I have always excelled in English, and that kind of just like, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but it kind of came as like an afterthought. Not really an afterthought, but it kind of like was like, I really want to be a teacher. I excel in English. I could be an English teacher, as opposed to, I love English. I excel in English. I guess I could be a teacher, or maybe an editor or something. Not that I'm not passionate about English, and it's like, I'm very excited to teach it, because I think it's an awesome field, and I love that you can implement so much social justice into this field just by books and literature and whatnot. But it really came down to me like wanting to be a teacher first almost, and then kind of getting into the realm of becoming an English teacher. I kind of lost my tangent about technology, but like full circle, it's interesting that like how much heavily we're implementing this technology, and like how much we're putting this in our system. But like, I really think that we need to find the balance between like utilizing technology, because it's amazing and it's like a great advancement that we have in society, and we should be going through these advancements, but utilizing the technology in a way where it acts as a aid but doesn't like take over your classroom. And so this was kind of what I was talking to Shannon about, and I'm like, how do you feel that this is taking over your classroom, and like, do you feel that students think that they could do online school? And she kind of sat and thought about it for a minute, and then she was pretty much just like, I do believe that in my classroom setting, it would be very hard to implement a structured learning lesson without technology. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough hours in the day to have all these different math classes for these different age levels. And these girls are at all different age levels just because of roadblocks in their lives, where they haven't been able to continue at a normal education line for like their math and where they should be. So she also says that it's very important for her to not only allow these students to like go through these but she's like go through these lectures and these notes and stuff, but she's not just sitting at her desk letting them go forth with the PowerPoints and just kind of letting them figure it out on their own. She still acts at that as that friend and as that facilitator. So it's kind of interesting to see how like a heavy technology, how do I word this, a classroom that has heavy influence of technology operates, with there being that instructor figure there. So it was something that I thought that was interesting to like talk about. So thank you.